I mean, I think it's worth having the AI hardware discussion where you're seeing all of these, in my opinion, idiotic pins come out where you're like, have we not learned? I mean, all the way back to Google Glass. For folks who are younger in the audience, Google it. There were people getting punched in bars because they wore these Google Glasses because they're always on cameras. And spoiler alert, outside of a really niche audience in San Francisco, people don't actually want always on cameras pointed in their face in private spaces. I know this is shocking to San Francisco, but that is the truth. And no amount of AI goodness on top of that's going to justify this happening in a public space. Are you fine with always on cameras at work? Maybe. Are you fine with them in specific contexts? Sure. Do you want to show your AI things? Yes. That is different than essentially being a cop and having your footage always recording. And these companies keep putting out these pins, and I just don't buy it. I don't buy that anybody wants a separate pin that they're going to have to make fit with their outfit all the time, that's going to hang on their clothes, that's going to be immediately noticeable. I mean, we're used to looking at name tags, so you put anything on the chest, people are going to stare right at it. It's absolutely an insane idea that we've seen get millions of dollars in funding and would obviously fail.
Well, the sticking point is the camera, right? It's like you do things like the pin and the glasses, not because there's part of it that's like, I want to win and I want to make the new device.
Right.
But if you actually believe in this device, you're doing it probably because, like, the only reason I can think of to put it on those devices and not on the watch or earbuds, which are accepted forms of technology wearables that we already wear and that have huge adoption. The only reason to create a new form factor is, one, to just sell a new product. And so let's assume they're not doing that. They're good people and they actually believe in this. So I think the other reason is, I need to put a camera on it, and the AirPods Plus camera looks really silly, right? And it probably doesn't work. And so
I'm not sure the friend.com guy's a good guy, to be clear, but
no, he is not a good guy. No. I'm not even including.
We're talking about real products, right? Yeah, okay, great.
Medium real products like the Pin or like the Rabbit. But I'm just like, I think, when this stuff came out, me, you, Dylan, offline, we're all talking about how silly it was. And even the uninitiated, like even the people who we think are maybe behind on some of the AI takes because they're not living it all day, they took a look at this and said, I don't want this, because they're the consumer that would be buying it. Right. And that's telling. And then on top of that, I think the big realization that kind of took it home for me is, in the year from the, at least in the 6 months, in the time frame of the Google Glass release, I saw far more Google Glasses in public, out just in New York, in my small town, than I've seen Apple Vision Pro, Rabbit R1, AI Pin, Humane combined in the last year. I've only seen one Apple Vision Pro in public, and I haven't seen either of the AI devices. And so,
I mean, to be fair, wearing an Apple Vision Pro in public is truly deranged behavior, right? $3,500 on your face, moving around.
People do it on the plane.
The plane I get. That makes sense to me. You get a home theater on your face. I get that.
I don't get walking on the sidewalk. I've seen it in public in video. I haven't even seen videos of people with it.
Well, I think the Pin thing's worth, because so everybody betting on the Pin has this point of view that you want your AI always looking at stuff, and this is what I don't buy. I believe you do need the capacity to show your AI something. Absolutely. 1,000%. I think you need to show it in the physical world, and you'll probably want to show it in the digital world. You saw OpenAI's demo with the Mac app where they can suddenly look at your screen. That'll be a godsend for a million different reasons, not just the fact that you have an elderly parent or somebody struggling with tech and they can just show the AI what they're looking at. That's all gravy. I think that's great. I don't buy that it always needs to look at. I think people are more than willing to take a deliberate action to show it. Yeah, there's her, right? I think her is wrong here. I think they were wrong to think that you always wanted to show that perspective.
No, but you didn't. This was one scene in the movie where it was important that they were running around on the beach or whatever. They were on a date. Yes. So it was very important that the AI was able to see the world. So he did this pin thing with the pocket.
Right.
So I think this is actually, the point here is that actually there's a small set of circumstances in which you want the AI to see the world, or you need the AI to see the world. And you can find ways, like holding out your phone or putting it in your pocket.
This device we've been trained for, decades to be able to hold up and take selfies with? Yeah. Like, 'cause OpenAI
People are
had those
asked,
demos,
yes,
right? Do I
yes,
look good for my interview? Yeah, perfect.
yep. And people, it seems like anybody building AI hardware that isn't AirPods or a phone
Right.
seems to be a little confused about like how people use these devices, or have they never used
Right.
FaceTime and shown somebody, because it feels extraordinarily natural to flip the camera around on FaceTime.
Yep. Yep.
It's an action that we all know, we've all done. Hey, take a look at this, right? Like,
Right.
and how often do we do that? Like,
And not to
because
mention, there's
it's
all these downstream consequences of having to analyze an ongoing stream of video constantly. I mean,
mhm,
nuts compared to I explicitly do a show action, right? I flip the camera around to your point. I start a recording. I point it. I do a screen share with it, whatever it is. That lets you save on compute, which everybody's trying to save on compute. And then the second is it lets you have this feeling of I still have control as the person in this relationship, right? Like
mhm, mhm.
I can decide when I want to show the super intelligence something and I don't. Otherwise, you're just like, actually, I just want you to see everything in my life and catalog it, and that's truly unhinged behavior in my estimation.
Yep. It's very Black Mirror, right? And it's like
Oh,
I
hundred
don't know.
percent.
And I don't know. Is there a world in which everybody walks around with their cameras on their face? And honestly, I think it's quite possible. This is another thing where it's like I don't want it. I don't want a camera on all the time.
Well, maybe the case is that 10 years into this revolution, when assistants are normalized and everybody has assistants, you could buy a world where maybe that's possible. But to think out of the gate, given the bodies that have been stacked on always on video
Hmm.
devices, that before anybody's bought in, before we even have an AI assistant that's worth a damn, that people are going
Yep.
to now give up their privacy for a hockey puck or a big, post-it note on their chest
Yep.
is truly unhinged. Like I cannot even imagine the meetings where someone wrote a check for that.
I think it was a bet on branding and some sort of public, because it seems like it's been somewhat of a success. Like,
Well,
even
Humane did
though,
the whole Apple connection thing, but like even Apple can't get people to always wear their devices, right? To your point, Apple Vision Pro, right? Those sales aren't where they want them to. It's not like Apple Watch hit the same number of sales as iPhones. We're at like 100,
mhm,
115 million units or something like that versus 1 point some billion for iPhones. It's
right?
hard to get people to wear new hardware, and Apple is the king of it, and they can't make it happen all the time. But no, here's an always on pin. It's definitely going to work, guys.
Yep. And here, what can it do for me? Oh, nothing really yet. Right? Like, okay, here's a
Right.
replacement for your phone that's
Yeah.
less featured than your phone. In fact, it's less featured than a watch, and actually, it's less featured than AirPods. If you have
Oh,
your
and by the
AirPods
way,
and your
the
phone's in
AI can't
range,
pull up anything interesting for you. Like
yep,
it could on a
yep,
phone. It could pull up
like,
things
yep.
on a phone, right? Siri will be able to say, "Hey, here's the web page."
From what I can tell, the experience on the Humane Pin assistant is not better than Siri, like default
Not at
Siri,
all. Not at all.
which is
Siri can
insanity.
actually affect apps. It can do
Because
things to my
you're
apps.
paying a monthly subscription for this super advanced LLM assistant on the Humane, after you've already paid $600 or $700 for the device, whatever it is.
That's just pinging OpenAI, by the way, not some new
That's
foundation
just
model.
pinging OpenAI. They don't
Like,
have a new model, and it
no,
doesn't seem like it's doing any sort of super advanced, like, I mean, wrapper's not the right word in this case, but some sort of like infrastructure built on top of
right, right,
the OpenAI model. Like, they have some, clearly, but it seems extraordinarily limited. Hey, the user sent this query. What should I do? Right? It seems
right.
like they've basically built Alexa again, but
Yes,
on
yes,
a pin,
absolutely.
which is insane because
And
this
what
is
did
supposed to be
Alexa
the
end up
AI
getting used
revolution.
for? What did AI, like Alexa's number one use case is a kitchen timer,
Right. Right.
not some advanced command. It's a kitchen timer and playing
Yep.
music for your kids. That's it.
Yep.
That was the whole outcome of that.